Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Crypto Waffle episode 17. Today's topics are US crypto reserve, Bitcoin drop to 78k, and a short selling tutorial. So how to make money on the downside as well as up. Let's kick it off with the US crypto reserve. What are your thoughts on it?
Right. So, as you can see, both me and the Financial Navigator have conspired to wear green shirts today. So it's because the markets are going up.
Yeah.
Just a coincidence, but on green days, I like to wear green stuff. The markets are going up because Donald Trump has made another announcement, which has not really been an announcement, but kind of was an announcement. And he said they are going to have a strategic crypto reserve. The key difference being that it's not going to be a Bitcoin only reserve, but it's going to have Bitcoin. He did say Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Cardano.
Yeah.
Cardano being the one which kind of snuck in there under everybody's radar, mostly probably because Charles Hoskinson is a great talker and he's probably gone there and spoke to them and told them that his technology is actually the best. And with this, what this means is that the Americans will start to buy and hold crypto as a nation. This should,
Well, that hasn't been confirmed yet.
well, what I think it's a buy the rumor, sell the news event, because I think what will happen is that they're going to have a crypto summit or something similar.
There a speech today though as well. I know the summit's on the 7th, but I think he's saying something today at like 1:30 or something, I believe.
Okay, which is half an hour. So whilst we're
Happen whilst we're live.
yeah. So once, well, I think this is what the markets are buying. The markets are buying a narrative that the Americans will start to buy and hold their own crypto in a similar way that El Salvador were or are buying and holding their own crypto. The interesting thing being that whilst El Salvador only hold Bitcoin, the Americans are immediately starting with the altcoins as well in this basket. I have no idea how they're going to do this in practical terms, and I've got quite a good idea that they probably don't neither at this point. And I think once they say that, the markets will probably plunge again. But whilst the markets are up, let's make hay.
Because I know the likes of Brian Armstrong, Kraken, Winklevoss twins and all that stuff, they're at that crypto summit on the 7th at the White House. And Brian Armstrong put this tweet up yesterday. I'm excited to learn more, still forming an opinion on asset allocation, but my current thinking is one, just Bitcoin would probably be the best option, simplest and clear stories as a successor to gold. Two, if folks wanted more variety, you could do a market cap weighted index of crypto assets to keep it unbiased. But probably opinion one is easiest. This is tweet. Now, as I think if you went back a couple of months ago when he was obviously campaigning for becoming president, I think everyone was on the train of it being a Bitcoin strategic reserve and just Bitcoin. It's obviously very clear now that it's not just Bitcoin and will be, I mean, they're probably a top 10 basket weighted sort of thing. But from a regulatory point of view, I think Bitcoin is the easiest to get through.
Yeah, I think everything's easy to get through from a regulatory point of view if you are the regulators. So
yeah,
I think what Brian Armstrong is saying there is a little bit naive, maybe a little bit. I think he's trying to be the good guy and say, you know, like, we don't want any corruption, so we want it to be fair, whichever tokens. That's just nonsense. It's not going to be fair. We're not going to get the best tokens in there based on technology. There's projects like Nano, which is probably the best project for using as peer-to-peer cash. It's not going to be there. It's not going to be nowhere near there. Cardano will be on there, definitely. Things like Solana will probably be on there. Sui
will be most likely in the top 10, wouldn't it? I would have thought.
Unless it's something that belongs to somebody who's got weight in those conversations. I think they're looking at XRP not only because it's in the top 10, but because they can control it. And I think that matters a lot.
Well, Guardian House has also got a lot of links to obviously the likes of the World Economic Forum and also.
There you go. I think if what's his name with the curly hair who blew up FTX,
Road.
yeah, I think if he didn't get caught and sent to prison, he'd probably be sitting in the room telling them, well, hold it all on my exchange, and they'd be like, oh, well, this is a good thing to do. So I think what Brian Armstrong is saying, whilst it sounds good, like, let's not believe our own BS.
But also, I think it's key to remember, I don't know how, probably a month ago, when they were talking about just American cryptos.
Yeah.
It was very specific, and the ones they've mentioned are all American.
Yeah.
There are a couple others. I know Dogecoin was actually made in America as well, supposedly thought about in America. The Chainlink's American, XLM is American, and there's quite a few, Sui as well, and others. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's just a basket of American crypto assets.
It makes sense. Of course, it makes sense, and I guess it's got its good points and its bad points. Hopefully, if any other nations do decide to follow suit, nudge nudge Europeans, wink wink, if they decide to follow suit, hopefully they decide to push European cryptos, or they decide to push cryptos that they can control a little bit closer, or that they've got a little bit more of a vested interest in.
But then also, I also think that there's probably the likes of Saudi Arabia, Dubai, China, these other countries. They're not stupid. They're probably already building or built some sort of reserve in these assets.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not stupid. Russia used it for a short period of time once the war started for transactions. And then people also used it to Ukraine to give donations.
Yeah.
So it's everywhere, effectively. And I think there's going to be news coming out this year that another country, like you said earlier, has started buying Bitcoin on its balance sheet.
Yeah.
So I think it's just...
I think with the likes of Saudi Arabia, it will be Bitcoin, and probably only Bitcoin, because I don't think they've got the industry to have any other cryptos within their own state. China is obviously different. They've got the room to do it. India's another place. They've got the room to do it. They've got the manpower to do it. They've got the economy to do it, but they probably just don't have the will. So China don't want people being able to freely move their money between each other. So it's unlikely they'll have one. It's I think it's a massive deal that he's made this tweet and he's brought in crypto as a word, and he said all these other projects. It kind of fast tracks them past the whole ETF acceptance phase. If they're going to be a part of a strategic reserve, you better believe they're all going to get ETFs. So I think in the long run, it does kind of give those projects that were mentioned directly by Trump the stamp of approval, which is probably why we've seen the markets rally so quickly.
Yeah, agreed. Right, let's move on to the next one. Bitcoin at 78k. So that flush that we saw, I mean, it started on the Tuesday, I think, last week, literally the day after we filmed.
I feel like it started as soon as we got off the air. As soon as we got off the air, like you ran to your laptop and you started selling, and then the market just crashed.
Yeah, and then I think we saw that big flush, the final wick down on the Friday.
Yeah.
And now from my point of view, I don't think this downwards phase is finished. I think we could definitely see a rebound, and which is why we've seen one on this news. But when you look at it at support and resistance, we just do major support, and we've seen a big buy from there. But then you're looking at potential bearish retest at the moment. I mean, we can get into the charts in a minute. But I don't think this is it. I think this crypto thing on the 7th could be grabbing everyone in again. And then, as I've talked about from a wider macro perspective, the S&P coming down into that 52, 55 range towards the March OPEX. If that happens again, because actually, no, tell a lie. So that big flush we saw on the Thursday, Friday last week was the same day we saw the flush in the S&P, and that was the February options expiry date. So although it was seen as it makes sense. So I
I,
think we're still to see one.
for me, it was this thing that you've said, and it's maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. It might have been the back end of 2024. And we was over 100K and we was on a show and you was like, looking at this chart, it can go all the way down to 76. And it was like this ascending line. And I remember I looked and I was like, oh, I said, that's going to hurt. I don't want to see 76. And then when we got down to 78, I thought to myself, well, you'd said 76 back then. Now,
Yeah.
if that line, I don't know, we might look at the chart later, but if that line keeps on going up, surely by the time we've hit it, it's up at 78. So I thought to myself, right, this is the bottom. This has to be, because this is what he said, and he has to be right.
I mean, what is really annoying, because I was going to buy my first bit of Bitcoin for a very long time on that day, and I had orders in at 77.5, right? And on BitGet, I think it went to 77.823 or something, and I was like, "You son of a gun! Oh my god, I can't believe you just done that." I was literally 0.10% away, or whatever it was. It's so annoying.
But you had said it. So you had said, right, if we get this drawdown, here's where the next line of resistance will be.
Yeah,
We'll
I'll throw it up now. Let's have a look. Yeah, because I mean, from a bigger time frame perspective, and I always look at the bigger time frames. So if we zoom out to the monthly, let's find the chart that's got everything on it. Which one's the least busy, but not too busy? I think the first one's pretty good. Right, so you can see my buy orders, which are these white dotted lines. And let me put that down a bit. We'll get rid of these Bollinger Bands as well, tidy it up a little bit. So let's do that. So we talked about ages ago, on a monthly time frame, we could definitely come back into this green box, which is between 66 to, I think, 73-ish, worst case scenario, 74. And that is still a bullish retest, because you've had your breakout. There's been no retest in this area. That would be your retest. Now, we went down to 78. Why did we go down to 78? If you look on the daily and then you pin yourself over to where we actually broke out, there's a bit of chop over a period of the 7th, 8th and 9th of November here before we actually sprung. So we come down pretty much into that upper end of that small range. That was support, or would have been acting as support, and has bounced. Obviously, as well though, when people see it coming down thick and fast, if people can catch that knife, they're going to do so, which is why you've probably seen it front run that little area of support there. So people are thinking, well, basically it's people are thinking that people are thinking something else.
Yeah.
It sounds really confusing, but if people are going to have their buy orders at 74, let's say, people might go, actually, I'm going to have mine at 76. But then there's someone out there going, well, people are going to have loads of 76. I might not get my field if I'm added 76 as well, or 74.5 or 75.5. I'm going to put mine at 78.
The next time this happens, you will be one of those people, because you've just missed getting your orders filled at 77.5. Next time you'll say, I won't be quite so greedy. I'll grab it at 78.5.
I mean, I'm not moving my orders, because I'm personally still of the opinion that we're going to come down into this a bit deeper. And that is because of the S&P, which we'll go over to in a minute. But I was then doing, actually, for the very first time, literally since we said last week that we'll do a bit of spot leverage trading. So when we were down here on literally 79K, I think it was, I longed. I went 2x long, cashed out at 74. I then went short, closed that short about 90K a minute ago, because I'm looking for this daily candle to close back above this line. If it doesn't, then I think we just see a bit of chop in here, depending on what is happening or announced around the 7th. Yeah. Depending on what it is, we could definitely see a throwback to the top here. If we can get back within this range, I think on the daily or multiple daily closing basis, if not weekly, we definitely see that drive back to the top of the range 107. But if we get back there, I'm sure. I think we then have that final flush. and reasons why. So S&P basically tells you all you need to know. If this is obviously to pay out, the keyword there saying if the S&P is to come into this area, that is from peak to trough, the upper boundary of the 5 is a 10.5% correction to the lower boundary of a 15.5% correction. Okay, if the S&P is going to do a 10 to 15% correction, the Nasdaq will do 15 to 20%. So the lower boundary of that correction for the Nasdaq will be around the $19,000 level, and the deeper correction will be around the 17.8, something like that. So if Nasdaq is doing 15 to 20, Bitcoin probably does 25 to 30, if not a little bit more. So let's look back at the Bitcoin chart. From peak to trough, again, or the recent peaks, a 30% correction or 25% correction puts Bitcoin where we went, effectively, 78. A 30% correction puts us into 74.5. And if we do pull a 75, 35 or to 40, the lower boundary is around that 66.5, which is about a 40% correction. And if you do zoom out to prior bull markets, they are littered with these big pullbacks.
Yeah.
They may not look like it when we're looking on a chart like this, but if I go to the weekly, and just for an instance, let's use 2013, okay? Bitcoin had this massive rally from a bottom in the bear market of $2 all the way to 270, and then had a massive pullback from peak from 270 to around 65, which is a 75% correction before blowing off and topping out at around 1,200. So it rallied up, went 75% down, and then did an 18x. So a lot of people in that 75% correction think, well, this is done, it's over. We can look at the same thing.
Those were different times then, mate. There was no TA then. We were just upset that Silk Road had been closed down. That's what it was. One of the biggest dark web marketplaces had been closed down, and Bitcoin pooed the bed literally in moments.
I mean, this 2017 bull run's littered with it as well. I mean, look at this pullback here. That is 39%. Then we ran from there to this peak, from this peak to that trough, 33%. Then from this peak to that local trough, 37%. From this peak to that local trough, 40%. I mean, it's endless. 2020 bull run. I mean, from the bottom here, from peak to trough, obviously this was COVID, so you could say it's an anomaly and blah, 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 but a 70% correction. Zooming into that bull run, leading up to that 69K top. After that rally, we had a 20% correction. This one here, just before the peak to 64, 30% correction.
That one you've just looked at is pretty much the exact time that we are in this bull run, right? It's the February of the year.
Well, it's January, yeah. Early Jan. Obviously, we're in Feb now. So, I mean, there was...
Okay.
No, we kind of just topped out here. But then, again, last cycle was the first time we had this double dip or double top, whatever you want to call it. But from the peak of a 64, we then had a 54% correction in the middle. And we've seen the same thing this time. I mean, from the bottom at 15, we rallied to 25. We then pulled back 20% to 19. We then chopped sideways for a while and had a 20% pullback. Another rally, another pullback of 20%. Then we had that 7-month boring ass window in summer, which was a 33% correction. And what we see now, and maybe 30 to 40% correction. It is nothing abnormal at all. Now, what I would be worried for, so if we had a monthly close back below this green box, okay, and then that was followed by continuation of price selling, tops in. Okay, you could pretty much say bull market's over, and it's probably the most disappointing bull market to date, if that is to happen. But until that happens, that is a bullish retest on this monthly chart. You can see this prior high box in green here. And And you can see my order limits. I'm not getting greedy, going, well, we're definitely coming into the bottom of here. I am more than happy to be snapping Bitcoin up between 78 to 72K. That is more than enough for me. Don't be wrong, it'd be lovely to get some down here, but I think the actual risk to reward of getting that is unlikely. So we'll see. But the S&P is the big one. If that continues to do what I think it does, obviously crypto will be dragged down as well. And you can see that just by looking at the total market cap. Total came back onto that support around the 2.64 trillion, has since bounced. But you can see on the, well, you can see there on the monthly actually, that at the moment, that would be classed as a bearish retest because we've come up and been rejected. But obviously we are only 3 days into March, so you can't get too ahead of yourself saying that's a bearish retest.
You're not really of the opinion that the bull run is over yet, are you?
No. I mean, why? Look at this. We go back to this every time. They need to refinance their debts. Now, call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever you want to call me. They need something or someone to happen for them to start paying off. Oh, I'll just click refresh again, idiot. These debts. They are coming up soon and they are getting big.
I can still see the BTC USD chart.
Oh, can you not see the other one?
No, we need to see that one with that massive tick.
I think I was screen sharing the wrong one. See it?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one.
That's the job.
Where their debt literally just hockey sticks up and to the right. Yeah. So they are going to have to print the world's money supply to refinance this stuff. And something needs to give sooner because we're getting to the point again. I mean, look at when it last happened. The balance sheet was being drawn down like is happening now. The TGA was kind of chopping to downwards, which is an argument to say because there's some sort of down momentum there. And then what's happening with the debts? It's starting to go up, starting to climb. What's happening? You're getting this big divergence. That needs to close. Otherwise, we go into some sort of debt spiral and then the whole world will blow up, effectively. Not that we're already in a debt spiral because we probably are, but you get the point. The printers are coming. Liquidity is showing it as well. So if we overlay, obviously we were looking at this a while ago. So if we go back to the Bitcoin chart, let's get a bit of a cleaner one here. It's not as busy.
We're having a bit of a clear out now as we're talking down to, is that 88?
Yeah, 88. So this is the pound Bitcoin chart. I'm going to do this just because it's cleaner than the others. And let's overlay liquidity. So obviously we were following this and we were saying, okay, Bitcoin's kind of diverged from liquidity here. Where liquidity was coming down, Bitcoin was just chopping. Now, we said a while ago, worst case scenario, if I quickly throw this onto the dollar chart, please ignore all these random white lines. I'll just clear them all. So that makes it a bit easier. We said worst case scenario, Bitcoin comes into 60. Okay, I didn't think that was likely because we saw this slight divergence. And if you listen to the pros of the world, Bitcoin slightly, when in the later stages of the bull market, Bitcoin will break away from its tight correlation with liquidity. Okay, normally to the upside, not down. So I don't think we see 60, but we could definitely get a flush still into that 65, low 70s area, which is what I'm still looking for. And then I did say a couple of weeks ago that we might have been looking at the wrong chart. But before I flick it over into the total 2, you can see here that liquidity, where's it bottomed? If we go to the daily, let's have a look to the day. So on the weekly, so it looks like we're putting in a bottom in around that 20 to 30th of March. Now, what did I just say? The day was key. 21st of March.
21st of March, yeah.
Okay, liquidity's bottom. Now, liquidity is obviously a forward-looking thing. What's going to happen to Bitcoin if we get down there or lower? It's going to start looking forward. If liquidity continues to expand, Bitcoin will expand. And if they're going to pay their debts back, like they're probably going to do, then there it is. Now, there's also a tweet that I put into the free Telegram yesterday, actually, by Jam Croissant. That's the Twitter handle, by the way. It's not his actual name, but it's easier to say. Look at his thing, and he tells you how and why they're going to do it. So they won't go ahead and just give money out to, like they did during COVID. He'll do what they normally do. They'll give it to the top 0.01%. That will stimulate them to go and hire more people and create more jobs and blah, blah, blah. And it's better for the economy. So long story short, they won't give it to us plebs because we just spend it and it causes too many macroeconomic problems. They'd rather give it to the 1%, which will then employ more people and blah, blah, blah. And that's the better route in their eyes.
Absolutely.
But obviously, we said a couple of weeks ago, or I said that we might have been looking at the wrong chart. Now you can see this is a lot tighter. So than just Bitcoin, whichever we did a minute ago. I've just absolutely ruined that correlation, by the way. That's better. You can see here that that was kind of leg one. Okay, there's the bounce. What should happen next? Leg two. Now let's say we don't get down here, but I think we could definitely come into this 950 billion range in total two. Now, what does that mean? All coins are going to get slaughtered. Now, what has this recent flush just taught us? If you look across the charts, you will see that some altcoins have performed better than others. Just to name a few, which we actually covered this week, ARK and AI16Z have performed pretty well. Like you can see here, we saw no major flush, even on the Friday and throughout the Tuesday, Thursday, Friday last week. Price was pretty much unfazed. SPX, we did see a bigger flush on the Thursday and the Friday coming down. But if you go through the charts, you will see. So another good one is actually, I think, SUI. Where are we? SUI's in here. SUI's been one of the stronger ones all year. SUI is one I'd be looking at. So take yourself through the charts and you will find which ones have been performing the best this year. It doesn't take long. Give yourself 5-10 minutes, walk yourself through, and then you can go from there effectively of what's going to perform and do well.
I think sometimes when we have these situations where you have a news event that really, really pushes the price so extreme as this news event did, both for Bitcoin and for alts, it is generally short-lived. So whilst we have had a good 2 days, I think the direction is generally going to be downwards.
Yeah, and I mean, we even said this going back to the flush we saw on the 3rd of Feb, I think it was, didn't we? We saw that big flush where overnight it was like 1.4 billion liquidated in crypto. Now, and we said on, I think that week's episode of the week after, there's a good chance that we come and visit those wicks again. And don't go rushing in thinking that's it, it's done. And what's happened? We've come down again. So on that evening, don't get me wrong, I rushed to get in, but I was getting at the bottom end of those wicks, which I'm more than happy to get at. Because in my eyes and with a longer point of view, that is a damn good entry. And I'm sure in 3 to 6 months' time, I'm not going to give a damn whether I got something 20% lower or where I got it. I'm just glad I got in and had the capital to do it.
Yeah.
So even now, don't think this current wick that we've got on the screen or the flush is done. There's a good chance that we could definitely drift back in.
Well, if we do, I think it will be make or break time. If we're going to have
that's the sentiment I want to see. Yeah. If I'm honest, because this is from a sentiment point of view, this has been really good. Because we get the flush, everyone's mega bearish. And we get this pump, everyone's mega bullish. Oh, bottom's in, bear market's done, blah, blah, blah. What happens next? They're thinking rip. I want to see another flush. I want sentiment to be on the floor. I want everyone to go, right, bull market's over. This is the worst bull market ever, blah, blah, blah. And then what will happen? QE will probably end. Something breaks in the macro world. The Fed start printing. Bang.
The macro triggers that I'm looking at the moment, are still Trump tariffs. Regardless, I know that there is a strong, and I do agree with the idea that there is a strong thesis that the tariffs are just a bargaining tool. But I think they're a bargaining tool with the power to spook the markets. They spook the traditional markets, it could be bad. We've still got DeepSeek R2 to come out, which will happen within the next 2 months, they have said. Now, like we said in the last episode, if this DeepSeek R2 is better than Grok 3, and these guys have done it again for less than $5 million when Elon Musk had to go and rent out the whole city of Memphis, then it's going to be a problem. Finally, we've got the Europeans trying to assemble the Avengers to go and take down Putin, and
It's hilarious to watch, to be honest, isn't it?
that problem over there. And it does seem to me like there are quite a few actors doing things that will destabilize the economies, and those things can push us down.
Because I mean, the other thing from a macro point of view is this: everyone that's talking about this down or down in the S&P in a minute is this growth scare. Everyone's scared that we're not seeing any growth. Now, that's the big thing that's just causing this S&P drawdown. Yeah. And why I keep bringing up these option markets things is this is something I'm trying to learn behind the scenes, is how these option markets work, because that Jam Croissant bloke, he has, I mean, last year and this year has been spot on literally within 2 or 3 days to which way these markets are going. Which is why I've been firing it around in every channel pretty much that everyone's in.
What does he say? What does he say for the next 3 to 6 months?
If I get, so his playbook is effectively, we come down to that 52 to 55 range in the S&P. Okay. Something breaks, QE ends, Fed start printing. Then we retest for all-time high, and that's the blow-off. So that's his playbook. And then so what I do is obviously I take a lot of opinions and then create my own. Yeah. If you're then listening to other opinions and looking at that sort of that debt repayments that we looked at earlier, which go out into 2027 or something, there's an argument to say that they're actually going to have to continue to print money on 2027. So there's a possibility, in my eyes, that we have a prolonged bear market. Yes, we might have a really short, sharp correction in the middle of 50, 60%.
Prolonged bear market or prolonged bull market?
Bull market, sorry. So we could come into 2026, because we've got to remember this stuff doesn't happen like that. It takes months to play out. And we've been talking about this stuff, I mean, since last year, some of it. And it's only just happening now. So there's a chance that we have a nice rally after the March into normally summer. And what happens in summer, all the wealth advisors and big hedge funds and this stuff, they all go on holiday, so markets don't move, and which is why we get this horrible chop that's normally in the summer. And what happens towards year end, normally we get this Santa rally. Yeah. And that's it. Traditionally in Bitcoin history, if you look back, we always top in around late Q3, early Q4, something like that. Yeah. Late Q3, Q4.
Yeah.
But there's an argument to say 2026 is a bear market, but it's short, sharp, and because they have these massive interest payments, they got to keep going. It's not like they can stop. But the worrying side of things,
how are we defining a bear market now? Should we start to use?
I mean, because if you look at TradFi land, they talk about a bear market being a prolonged period of downside momentum or whatever it is.
So they would say a recession is 3 months, 3 months of negative.
GDP, I think it is.
Yeah, negative growth, 3 months, yeah. And they call it a recession. So if we're down, if Bitcoin's down 3 months in a row, we can call it a bear market.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, but then this is the weird world of what is finance and macro, isn't it? You have all these people. I mean, for some people have been calling the bloody bear markets for the last 10 years, and we've never had it. And it is a known fact that the bear side of news and psychology sells more than being bullish. Okay. Then all you have to do is look at the S&P over a 50-year chart, and it's like And until monetary policy changes, which is what I always go back to, until they say we are not printing any more money or whatever they're doing, then it continues.
Yeah.
By all means, we could have an S&P drawdown a prolonged period of time, but until I see the fundamental change behind it, I don't really care.
Yeah, I think that's like exactly the way I think. As long as they're printing money, the price of stuff is going to go up. If the stuff that we're discussing is assets, the price of assets is going to go up.
And this is ultimately why it's so difficult in this space, especially as a newbie.
Yeah.
Come in, and let's say you come in and you saw the Bitcoin headlines. Bitcoin reaches $100,000, 6 figures, blah blah blah. You're thinking, Christ, last time I saw that it was at 50, and that was back in 2021 or whatever it was.
No, it was back in the start of 24.
Yeah, it was at 50 as well. Yeah, they haven't looked at it until then, until the news headline or whatever. They go, oh, quick, I better get some. They come in, what happens? Bang, straight back down to 70-ish K, 80K. They're thinking, what the? I've just lost 20% of my 10 grand or whatever it is I put in, my £1,000, my £100. Oh, I'm not here for this. They'll sell, get out, and they'll never come back until they see another headline, Bitcoin 200K. Yeah. And it's rinse and repeat, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and you know it because like today I got another call from somebody, because crypto was massively up. I want to put some money into Bitcoin. What do you think? And I said, well, no, it's a bad idea. We're quite near all-time highs. It's not the time to buy it.
I think it also depends on their time horizon though. Because if you're looking out 10, 15 years, buying here's a bargain. Like,
yeah, but that would be an extreme coincidence. So if that was the case, and that has been the case, but those people generally rang me in 2019 or you know what I mean, or 2023. They generally rang me when the price of crypto was low, and it was something that they'd had on their mind for years, and they were like, you know what, now I've got the money, let me go and spend it. The people that ring me on the day of a price rise, they don't have a long-term horizon. They've seen
they want to get in, get out.
They want to get in and get out. Can I make this? Can I double my money in a year? Yeah. Because over the past year it's doubled. So can I do it again? And the answer is no. And you're going to end up being down 80% and then being upset because the chances that we go to 180 or 200K, they're slimming by the day. Because for that to come true, we should really have been at 120 by now, or at least. So if someone thinks they're doubling from here, good luck to you, really. So
right.
Yeah, better
you're marginal.
Right. So what you're gonna have to do is bet on some super risky altcoins.
Go down the risk curve, doesn't it?
Yeah. And who wants to do that? So just wait until everyone's saying Bitcoin is dead. When people are coming and asking me, oh, are you okay? Like, do you need a job? Like, how's things going? At that point, that's when you need to buy. At the time when you're feeling sorry for us guys, you're thinking, oh, are these guys still doing their stupid show about Bitcoin? I thought that was dead. That's when you need to go and buy. But nobody buys then. Everybody's like, oh, it's broken. I don't want it. Ha ha, shame on them. Even if, and this was always the story, like we went up to 20K in 2017 and we came back down to 2 or 3K. And people were like, that's stupid. Oh, I'm not buying it again. And I was kind of saying, but we started at $30. Like we started at like £50. And then we went to 20K. And then we came back down to 250. So to 3K. So although you may feel like we've gone from 20K to nothing, we started clearly at less than nothing. And no one ever takes that into account. So,
I mean, it's kind of like, so actually there's a video that I think I put in the paid one, which obviously you'll see as well. I haven't put it into the free, but I will do. Is a video of a guy called Sim. Now I met him when I was out in Bali. Long story short, he works with the Indonesian government, helping them build a Web3 and crypto regulations. Like this guy's another level. Also very close with Real Vision, Raoul Powell, and many other specialists. He talks about back in Germany in the early 1900s, if not so earlier, the Deutschmark and gold price. There was a period of 10 years where the volatility was nuts. Mm-hmm. Okay. They're basically saying that is the period we're in now. the gold is Bitcoin and crypto as an asset class, which is why we see such volatile swings and have done for however long. And if you normally we've only got history to go off as well. So when you're looking at this stuff, that makes sense. I mean, a period of volatility, what does it do to the people or average Joes? It tears them apart because every time they go into something, they then get hammered back down again. No, I can't do that. And they go back in again, and it's the wrong time. They get hammered again. So unless you know the people to speak to or how to deal with it, you just get chopped.
Listen, history doesn't repeat itself, but
It always rhymes.
Like, it always rhymes. And I think it's true. I think we've got a problem nowadays that we value everything in pounds, and we kind of assume that things should have a stable value just because we assume that because it's the same thing on one day as it is on the other day, it should be worth the same.
This is what frustrates me the most. I don't know if you've seen my recent YouTube, but I had a 15, 20-minute rant on there, right? About
He's in the garden.
No. I might have mentioned it now. I can't remember. But it's people on TikTok and Instagram. They go, you can invest in the S&P and do $200 a month, and in 40 years you'll be a millionaire. And people on TikTok, you can obviously see how many people have saved this, and you go in the comments like, oh my God, I didn't realize it was that easy, blah, blah, blah. What they're not realizing is the people that are telling them this, your millions of pounds in 40 years' time are going to be worth absolutely jack in the real world. Right? And people go, well, yeah, but surely my financial advisor would tell me about this. Why would he? We're putting money into his company or his business every time, and he's taking a fee. He doesn't care whether you lose or make money in the stock market. All he cares is he's getting a fee as you're putting money.
It's pay to play, isn't it? He just wants you to play.
And this is where the age old of knowledge is power in the finance world is. We're starting to break this down. It's starting to reverse. And I mean, crypto gives people like me and you and normies the opportunity, one, to outpace the rate our currency is being debased, so we can actually afford stuff in the real world, be it a house or food or holidays or traveling, whatever it is, and gives us a bit of power back. Because otherwise, what's happening to most people that I know and you see locally? People are struggling. You see more and more people gambling. You see more and more people going to the bookies. You see more and more people going to the pound store. That doesn't get easier.
That was a big part of Murad's meme coin thesis, which I think really touched a nerve for me. Was that what he said was basically, you can do memes, or you can play the lottery, or you can have fun playing poor. Those are your three choices. Because
you've got a better chance of winning on a meme coin than you have entering the mega billions or whatever it is in the US. Or the Euro millions in Europe.
Yeah. It's not, the meme coins are they're somewhat negative EV, but probably not quite as bad as going on the lottery. And then even then, if you get a decent job nowadays, the price of houses, like a decent wage, is not really going to get you a house. You might be able to do it.
I mean, I was looking at houses a couple of years back, right, and they were quoting me with a 50 grand deposit for a £380,000 house, a 35-year mortgage. I don't want to be tied down for 35 years, wasting 60% of my salary. No, thank you.
And the best part about that is that if you get a government, we're going off topic a little bit here, but if you get a government that's anti people who own assets, like the current government that we have now, then they're going to
anyway.
Yes, in the UK, they're going to tax you through the eyeballs for the things that you've already broken your back to go and buy. So I think overall, we are moving now towards a system whereby if you don't start to take part, you've only got yourself to blame later down the line. And it's interesting because so many people have known me as their crypto friend from like 2013 or 2012 or whenever. They've known me as their crypto friend from then. And even though over the last 10 years, crypto has gone from, I don't know, $50
billions to trillions.
Yeah, $50 a Bitcoin to $100,000 a Bitcoin. They will still say, "Oh, it's too complicated for me. I don't know what I'm doing.
But the beauty of it nowadays is you literally can just have it set and forget. You haven't got to understand it. Because when I speak to people, I say, to be honest, at least you understand it, the better.
Yeah.
Because your own mentality and psychology actually gets in the way of you making money.
I had a conversation with a guy recently. I won't say. I had a conversation with a guy recently, and I had spoken to him maybe in the depths of the last bear market. So I don't know, after COVID. So maybe before COVID, pre-COVID it was. So it was maybe 18 or 19. And anyway, this guy at this point, he's like, I need to get into crypto. I need to get into crypto. I need to get into crypto. And I was like, right, just do it. And he's like, well, I don't really know what I'm doing. I was like, just do it. Like, just do it. If you do it wrong, you do it wrong, but just do it, because now is the perfect time, because everyone's saying it's dead. So anyway, fast forward, was talking at the weekend, and he was like, oh, I've had a terrible night or whatever. My thing's down 20 grand. And I didn't say anything, but in my mind, I remember this guy's only put in a couple of £100. So if he's only put in a couple of £100 and he's down 20 grand. And it's not like he was like in tears. He was like, I'm down 20 grand. And I kind of just thought, look, like that is the perfect, but there was a few of us speaking, so I couldn't really like make a big deal out of it. But that is the perfect example of just do it. Like your future self will thank you for just doing it. You have to take the plunge and do it. And that's, I think, the only thing that saves people from currency.
The other thing is that frustrates me with it is people then go, oh, you got lucky. And you're like, okay, I got lucky because I had to witness my portfolio get slashed in half every 3 months. And that's to sit through the pain of it all.
The thing is, it's just simple maths, but it's just simple maths that they don't teach at school. That there is a certain amount of money and there is a certain amount of stuff. If you increase the amount of money and you can't increase the amount of stuff at the same rate, this stuff is just going to get more expensive because there's too much money for that much stuff. That's the game. And it's that simple. Now, we use that to our advantage. Like, we're looking at that chart. We see the debt that they've got. We see that they have to print. We know that if they print, our stuff's not, Bitcoin's not going to suddenly ramp up in supply. So we know the value of Bitcoin's going to go through the roof. The same thing happened with COVID. They started printing their helicopter money in down to people. We knew that was just going to send the price through the roof. So sometimes, if you want to call it luck, you can call it luck. But all it is that we were lucky that we know that 2 + 2 is 4, because it is that simple.
And the other thing is I don't think anyone's got an unfair advantage in crypto, because you can literally, it's not like you have to wait till you've got $1,000 before you buy something.
And no one can threaten you for buying it. Some people do have unfair advantages though, because there are kingmakers within crypto. Like with like meme coins, pump and dumps and stuff like that, there are people with advantage. But everybody can play. I think that's
as long as you've got a phone and an internet connection,
yes,
you can get access to some sort of centralized exchange, decentralized exchange, and can actually buy this stuff.
Yeah. And then it's just a question of doing your own research, which is something that people band around when they can't be bothered to explain that they don't actually know why somebody should buy a coin or not buy a coin. But let's do our predictions, and then
we need to do short selling.
No, we'll do a short selling after we've done our predictions, because what we do is once we've made a prediction, whichever one we decide to go with, we will put a long or a short on that, and I'll show the process.
I mean, obviously, just to recap from last week, my long got stopped from when we were doing it, and I'm sure you're short hit your take profit.
No, I didn't put the short on. So no,
literally, you would have nailed it.
Smacked it right on the nose. So what happened is, after we got off, I went downstairs and I had dinner, and then got late. I went to bed, woke up in the morning, and I was like, my short's coming. But it's too late to now get on it because it's already there. Yeah. So I missed it. So that's why I said this week we'll do it live. And then in the future, what we'll do is, as we're doing the predictions, we'll choose one and we'll just whack the short on there and then, so people can see us do it and see that it's not that difficult of a.
I mean, literally, as you were just talking, I put on a long.
Yeah.
Like, just looking at this chart here and why. So we do have a support zone around this 87 to 85. I'm playing this to hold. I'd probably look to take profits back up around 94, 93. So very short term, don't look into it too much.
What the main thing I would say about longing and shorting is just don't go crazy with the leverage and don't put too much in, because
I mean, for full transparency, I use maximum 3x.
yeah, I use 5 generally.
Yeah.
If I do any more than 5, I'm not putting in more than $50, because to me it's like betting on the Arsenal.
Yeah. Also, from a portfolio perspective, I literally traded like 0.5% of my overall portfolio. So
all right, so
nothing.
for the purposes of today's short or long, we'll do $50 each, because I'm just looking at my wallet and I can see I've got $100 in this one, so I can use that one.
Yeah. Right. So predictions from last week, just to recap, I've already marked them out on the chart, so it makes it a little bit quicker. My prediction was we saw 98. We didn't see it. Over the week, we saw a high of 96.5. We saw a low of 78.2, and obviously your prediction was we saw 89k. We did successfully, so that is one for you. Going to ETH again. Last week I said we saw 2.8, I believe.
Yeah, you said 2.50.
Yeah, so we saw a high of 2.840, so just. And then we also hit your target, which was 2.3, because we saw a low of $2,077. So both have one there. You're 2 for 2, I'm 1 for 2. SPX. So there are our targets. Mine was this slightly lower one. Yours was the really low one, which was a perfect buying opportunity if you managed to snipe some of that buy. Your target was the 48 cents area. Mine was 54, I believe. Yeah. And you can see both of them perfectly hit within last week's candle. Next one with Miggles, you were slightly, and I'm going to give it to you anyway because that is marginal.
The thing is, I was so bearish on that Miggles, considering where we were. When I said 37, you kind of looked at the screen like,
yeah, the hell do you think? Well, that was there, was it? This was Monday. So literally, if we went on to the 4 hour, let's see if we can see where we got off air. It would have been around the 8 o'clock mark, wouldn't it? Or just before. So literally, we were bang on here. And literally, as you said earlier, as soon as we come off air, bang.
Yeah.
But yeah, it hit. I'm going to give you it because you were literally, what, a couple cents off, if that, not even a cent, right? Marginal. And you can see my arm was bang in the middle there as well. So another one each. You're 4 for 4, is that?
Yeah. I think I went crazy on this ARC one though.
Yeah. So
I let myself down there.
So mine was this top range. Yours was this bottom. So neither of us were near. Over the last week, if I could just go to the weekly, you can see that there. That neither of us were near it.
ARC was a refreshing stable coin this week.
Yes, it was a much needed stable coin.
Much needed stable coin. Amidst madness, all the guys that were in ARC were like, look how strong ours is holding up.
Yeah.
That's generally a great sign.
Yes.
If the markets are bloody and your poo coin is holding steady, then you're in a good coin.
Yeah. I do have buy orders all over these as well, for the ones we just discussed. Miggles, SPX, and Bitcoin. Yeah. So if we get another flush, best be known that my orders are getting hit. Right. So this week, predictions start with Bitcoin. Where do you think we're going from here? Oh. So I'm going to bear in mind I've just put a long on. I think we go back up to this range high between the 95 to... Actually, that's so little, isn't it? I was going to say 92, but it's literally... Well,
we're under 87 now. We're at 80, 86, 80.
Is that too conservative, saying going to 92 to 95?
It's a bit easy. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take 95. But I'm going to go 95. Bang in there. I'm going to say we hold this on the news of what's going to happen on the 7th, which is Friday. And then after that, as of Monday, I think we could see another sell-off. But then also it kind of depends what's happening in the S&P and whatnot today, because I actually haven't looked yet. Apart from the area.
So my thesis now, I've got to figure it out before I decide whether to go bullish or bearish on Bitcoin, is does Trump move fast enough for Bitcoin to decouple from the stock exchange? And does his other erratic behavior
I think in the short term he could decouple it, but it'll always come back.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, markets nowadays are so closely correlated because they rely on liquidity. Is that nothing? It's not like the old days where the 60-40 worked, where when S&P crashed, bonds would rally. Well, not anymore. If S&P crashed, bond crash, gold crash, everything crash.
So everything's together, right?
Yeah. I mean, you could see some short term decoupling.
This is difficult. This is very difficult because I've got to go bearish again.
Yeah.
I've got to go bearish again. Yeah, there's too much headwinds, I think. And the only thing really positive is for Hopium about the strategic reserve.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally agree.
I'm gonna go 86. No, hold on. No, because we're at 86. I'm gonna go.
My laptop's got 10%, by the way.
Okay, right, 78.
78.
Yeah.
Please, sir.
So let's do Solana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mix it up.
I'll tell you what. Let me just quickly grab my charger. Yeah, let me mute myself.
Well, that's a much better idea. Okay. So whilst he's gone to get his charger, I will put my case forward for I think Solana will be at. So looking at Solana over the last week, we're down as low as 130, and then we pumped all the way up to 180 over the weekend. We're back down at 150. I like Solana though. So although I think things will be bearish, I think Solana will. I'm gonna say 140. I'm gonna say 130 again. I'm gonna say 130 for Solana. Let's see if he can come back. Financial Navigator's microphone. And he's back. No, you're muted, mate. I can see you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
And we're back in the room. Right. So
I've gone with 130. Back down to the lows that we touched. Yeah, the lows that we touched in the last dip.
That was a market cap chart. Sorry. Look. Ooh. Yeah, sales already breaking down. I'm going to go with you, but go even more bearish and say 125.
You can't go bullish Bitcoin and bearish Sol.
But we could just be creating a range.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on support here at 150, but we've just broken this diagonal support. Unless today's candle climbs back up.
Which is unlikely.
So what did you say, 130, yeah?
I said 130.
Yeah, I'm going to go 125.
Yeah, we're looking a bit bearish this week.
Yeah. So that will take ETH spot, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, what do you want to do next? Do you want to stick with memes or do you want to do AI things?
We do DeFi. Change of pace. We do.
No.
I'll tell you what I'd like to do actually. I'd like to do Cardano as one of them. But for DeFi, I'm gonna go with, let's go for a little one. We've done Uniswap before, haven't we? Aave?
Yeah.
We'll do Aave.
Yeah, and then I'll do Curve.
Okay. So the Aave, Curve, and then Cardano as the last one.
Aave, Curve, and Cardano. Then
I like Cardano because it's obviously now in the
this right. Beautiful looking chart, actually. Stunning. I reckon we could see.
I think this chart looks horrible. I need to zoom out.
This is a daily. I mean, if you go back to the weekly or the monthly, look at that. Breakout, chop, breakout, support.
Hiding for chop.
And these levels. I'm going to say we could see a bounce and I'm going to go 215.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, is that too easy?
No. I think that's fair. I'm going to go the other way.
Yeah. You're going to say we lose his support
I think so.
at 172.
Yeah. I'm gonna say down to 150.
Oh, mega bearish.
Mega bearish on this one.
Yeah.
150 might be a bit much actually. I'll say 160 because we're at 190 now. Yeah.
Yeah, 160.
And what did you say? 215.
Yeah, 215. Curve. So just for some perspective, there's some support along there. It looks like we're in a range. We lose this. Definitely opens up lower levels, which would be the upper end of this. Again, I'm going to go slightly bullish just because of what's maybe potentially happening on the 7th. And I'm going to say we could see curve back at 60 cents. I think this week will kind of just be range bound.
I am going to go with Can I say 35? Is that too close?
Nah, 35 is good because, I mean, you've got a major area of support there. So if that broke, then it's a great call.
Yeah, let's go 35. I'll say 35 cents. And what did you say?
I said...
Did you say 60?
60. Then this is the mighty Cardano.
So the fundamentals behind Cardano is that it's got extremely good proof of stake technology. So it is actually good tech. But because they tried to be a bit too nice with the programming languages that they used, they don't have hardly any developers. So the chain is very empty. But Charles Hoskinson looks the part, and old guys with money generally trust him. And that's how he's managed to, yeah, how he's managed to get himself into the room with Trump and onto the strategic reserve.
Yeah. I mean, there's some local support in there about like that. So that's me just sticking some lines on it quick. Again, I think we could just be range bound this sort of week.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same.
So I'm going to go upper end again. I'm going to say we could see $5.
Yeah, I'm going to say $10. I know I've been bearish from everything else, but I just think Cardano has got too much upside potential now. A Cardano ETF would be quite huge for it.
I reckon you get a Doge ETF before you get Cardano, you know.
I would have said so before, but if it's on the strategic reserve and Doge isn't,
I wouldn't be surprised if Doge gets added.
yeah.
It's usually the baby. Last cycle said, by the way, Doge is going to have a strategic reserve in the bull market of 2025. Everyone be calling you nuts.
Yeah.
Right, so which one are you going this week for your trade?
Right, so I said 110. What did you say? 104?
What was that for? Bitcoin?
Cardano.
Yeah, you said 110, that's 105.
105. Right. Which one am I going for my trade? I'm going to go for Solana to 125. Solana to 130, sorry.
You're going the bearish one.
Yeah.
But with these trades, are we saying from the point that they are now, or can we say, okay, if it gets to that point, we're going to long or short?
No, we've got to do it from now. This one we'll do from now. So what we'll do is we'll do this one from now, and then next time we'll do it where it can start at a certain point. We can place an order at a certain price.
Right, well, I'm going to long Bitcoin here at 87, and then take profits around 94.8.
Right. I'll tell you what, let me share my screen then, and I will.
And my stop loss will be around 30 seconds. Oh, no, good. Fine. Okay, stop losses are going to be at 83.2.
Okay, so stop loss at 83, 200.
Take profit at 94.8. And I'd put that on now.
Oh, are you doing it now? I was going to do it. I'll do mine.
Oh, right, okay. No, you can do it. I can send it over.
Well, I'll do it. But we'll do $50, right? So it's
Yeah, it's fine.
So it's not right. Let me share my screen then, and I'll show how
I hate zooming into the 4-hour chart. I just despise it. It's like I'm allergic to it. There's too much going on.
So let me share this window here, I think. Right. So, do you know what?
This is also topic number 3 for
yes. So this is a short. So I'm going to use Hyperliquid because I know it has BTC and Sol. So as you're long in BTC and I'm short in Sol, we'll do them both on Hyperliquid. So basically, you come to Hyperliquid, you then click connect, and you connect with your MetaMask. Is it showing my MetaMask? No, not quite. But that's quite good because it gives me a bit more privacy. Except this thing where it chooses to let you sell your Sol. Do you know what? Actually, I'm going to change this. Let me change it so that I'm sharing the actual screen. I'll share the entire screen. Because this way you can see my ledger now.
See
the MetaMask now. Yeah, sorry. That's better. Okay, right. So, what will we going for?
Sol and Bitcoin.
Right, let's do BTC first. So we choose the market that we want. We want to buy along. want to, let's do it on a limit because we're just going to go in as we are now.
No, you want market if you're going in now.
Yeah, that's right. Enable trading, stay connected, establish connection. I think we need to deposit some money, so we will deposit. Oh, do I have it as USDC? Hold on, let me check. Let me see what I've got on here. Oh, it says as ETH.
Annoying.
Yeah, that's no good. So we'll quickly go to Uniswap.
This is also how to use DEX.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll swap it into USDC, ETH to USDC, and we want to buy $100 USDC. So it sorts out how much it is in ETH. Click on Connect Wallet. Click MetaMask. Click Connect. Insufficient ETH. That's a lie.
No, we've got no ETH to pay the gas. Surely it's not $90 in gas.
Oh, hold on. I'm probably not on the right network. Let's see if I'm on the right network. I think I got
Choose like Arbitrum.
Yeah, I have to choose Arbitrum ETH.
I think you got to click that little E thing with the arrow on the right, and that changes the chain. It just was for where in there. Yeah, if you
in here,
little arrow at the top. Yeah, that one. Then choose Arbitrum.
Yeah, that's why they pay you the big bucks, mate. All right. This can't be right. 13% price impact. So these are things you have to look out for. That shouldn't be 13% price impact if you're only doing that small amount. So let's try Tether USDT. And again, $100. So this looks a bit more realistic. I don't know why it was showing the thing. Even this 10% looks high, but I can't bother to faff about. But normally you wouldn't do this swap because you shouldn't lose 10%.
You're doing $15.
No, not on 100. We're in a hurry, so I'm not going to bother to trouble.
If you're on ETH, I'd expect to maybe lose 10. But because you're on Arbitrum, it should be it's free, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But that, I don't know why that was so different there. Okay, back to Hyperliquid. USDT. Let's see if we've got it yet. It's not showing. So now all we have to do is wait for this transaction to be completed.
Crypto is very simple, guys.
Yeah. It's so simple that, like, us people that have been in it for like years and years and years, we still have these troubles.
You have to send me your address, by the way, so I can send it over.
Yeah, that'll be fine. So I've got a feeling that this is not updating automatically. So let's do this again and go back to here. And yeah, it's showing now, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, let's swap that and deposit it. So this is basically sending the $100 to the Hyperliquid chain. Some small fee of 16 cents.
They always double check the fees.
Yeah. If you're using things that you don't know, when you get really good, you can start to check the addresses as well of the smart contracts. But that's for another day. That was actually how the recent hack happened, where they changed who interface. Yeah, so the Bybit, they changed these, so these were showing the wrong thing.
And yet they still went ahead on it.
Oh, Hyperliquid only accepts USDC as collateral. Swap and deposit. God. USDT for USDC.
So we've got to wait for that to swap again.
Yeah, but
we'll have to edit this out to make it look good, you know?
100%. 100%. Right, let's try and swap this tether for USDC. So now we've got a little bit less. Well,
Once you do it once, though, guys, it does get easier the more times you do it.
Well, it kind of does. It kind of doesn't.
I think it depends what platform you use because,
Yeah.
I mean, with MetaMask and Uniswap and all that now, I mean, I'm pretty good with it, but I've never used Hyperliquid and I've never used some of these other things out there, so I'm sure it'd take me a bit longer just to get it going.
So I've used Hyperliquid a few times. And I'm quite sure it was a lot quicker than this. I didn't have to do all this faffing about. But yes, that's the way it goes. Right, so yeah. So all right, so we've got our deposit on here. How much should we put on there? So we can put 100%.
We need enough for yours as well, didn't we?
Yes.
When you do it at 40 each, because then it leaves a bit for stops, I assume.
Well, we can put the stops in. We'll put the stops in. We'll do it 50 each and put the stops in, and then if we get our stops, then we get our money back.
Yeah.
We'll do it at 5x. I think
We're doing 5x, yeah?
Yeah.
And just see if I want to change my stops if we do 5x.
Is 5x a bit risky?
I don't like 5x. Can we go in the middle and go 3?
All right, okay. No, we'll do 3 then.
Yeah. What did I say my stops were? 82.3.
Yes, stops 83.2.
Right,
and you're
82.3.
Okay. So your stop and what your stop to be
5.
You want your stop to be even lower?
Yeah, 82.5. Bit more, a little bit leverage, a little bit more give.
Okay. So what we're going to 3x or 2x?
3. It's a middle ground, isn't it?
So here we can see crazy horses will do 50x. So if you go down like 2%, you're dead. If you go up 2%, you've doubled your money. But we're down here on the risk curve. This is where the sensible people live, over on the left-hand side.
And we're just doing this for fun. This is not a money-making process. That is just a bonus.
Yeah. It's part of the game, right?
Yeah.
So let's do 50% of what we have.
I think you need to tick the take profit stop loss box.
Yeah, I'm looking at why the liquidation price is so low. Oh, it's because the thing's so low, isn't it? Even the leverage is so low. Take profit stop loss. Right, take profit price 94.8.
Yeah.
And stop loss price 82.5. Free X, yep, that puts us at 150. Margin required 50. Right, are you ready to place your order?
Get it on.
So what would happen here is if the price of Bitcoin dropped down to 29K, then the Financial Navigator would lose the entire of his $50 that he's put in. So I'm going to do, it's a lot of money.
About 59.
29. So liquidation price is down here. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
You got loads of them, didn't you?
Yeah, well, you just get rid of that stop loss. Just play the dangerous game. To levels.
No, we're going to leave the stop loss in there because we want to be
sensible.
Right, we want to be sensible. But what we'll do next time is crank up the leverage. I think if we crank up the leverage, we keep the stop loss there. It's a bit more fun. But I'm going to do what did we say? 3%? No, 50%.
Well, no, it's 100%, isn't it? The remaining, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'd have half the size.
I was having a quarter. Okay. I'm not going to do a take profit or stop loss.
You're not having it. You're playing that risky game.
I'm gonna ride it till the wheels come off. I'm gonna ride this $50 till the wheels come off, sir.
Take my 43 cents profit and run.
Are you already up? Are you already up? I've left mine on short 100%. My liquidation price is 237. I'll do a take profit actually. What was the one I said? I said 130, didn't I? So if we hit
90, yeah.
Yeah, so if we hit 130, I'll take profit there. I'm not gonna have a stop loss.
Be conservative and have a stop loss at like 200, which is
To try and save the $10 or whatever.
well. I mean, if you're going short, then I mean you're banking on downside, aren't you?
Yeah.
You should theoretically. It's good measure, guys, to have a stop loss.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's be sensible. Let's be sensible in this tutorial phase.
Quite a wide berth as well, isn't it? It's not like it's tight.
Okay, so take profit 130, stop loss 200. Oh no, my stop loss is. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Let's place the order. I don't like shorting.
It's a dangerous game, short, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just prefer to long, to be honest.
I especially don't like shorting when we're already down here.
Yeah.
So what you would normally like to do is short when you've seen this green thing happen. That's normally when you'd like to short after the market's just done a crazy pump. After it's done all this dropping off, you shouldn't really short. But I'm being Mr. Bearish.
Let's see how these play out till next time.
Yeah, I don't think there is a... I don't think these have an on-chain address that we can share with people. So
we could just drop a post like midweek.
Yeah, okay. We'll do a post midweek. We'll do a catch-up. Maybe
you just do a screenshot or something.
Thursday. We'll do a screenshot Thursday, see where we are, and then keep everybody updated. But currently, if we look at our positions, I'm already in the red. And financial green. Hold on, look at that. Look at these guys.
Quick, take the money and run.
So you're up 29 cents and I'm up 2 cents. I'm down now, 38 cents. So it moves, right?
This is what the trench warriors do. They sit there all day just watching their profit going in red and green and red.
Yeah.
Red and green.
Yeah. I can't do this. I can't do it like this. I like to just set it and leave it and walk away.
Yeah.
But we've done well to have stop losses and take profits. I think that's sensible. You don't need to do KYC or anything like that with Hyperliquid. It's literally as easy as I've just done. So this was a brand new account. I don't think I've used it here. Let's see. I don't think I've used this wallet before. No, see. Yeah. So you can see the history.
Referral link as well.
Have I got a referral link, have I?
You should have.
Yeah, there we go. Referrals. Yeah. Nah, whatever. So that is basically how you short. The idea being, when we finish being in the bull market and we all expect it to be a bear market, you come to this BTC USD, you whack that up to there, you click this button, you whack that up to there, you click confirm, and you then put it.
You use all your profits from. So all the money you've made from holding spot, you then go and try and 50x it on the way down.
You smash it, yeah. And if Bitcoin goes up another 2%, that's it. Don't worry.
This is not financial advice, but if you we can do with the whole bag.
I'm definitely shorting on the way down this time because I've been through far too many bear markets and not shorted when I know Bitcoin's going to heck. So I'm definitely shorting on the way down this time. Obviously not with 50x leverage and not with all of my profits. But yeah, okay. So I guess I can stop sharing. Let me stop sharing here.
Yeah, well, I'll quickly check for any questions. No questions in the chat. So this wraps up episode 17. Thank you all for watching. We can only apologise for the slight detour we took midway through, but I think it's all very worth it surrounding this space and what's happening.
It's very waffly, isn't it? It's called it's crypto waffle. It's not crypto directives, so we're allowed to talk around it if we need to.
Let's see what happens with Trump this week on the 7th. I think that will actually date this week to keep ears and eyes open for. I quickly wanted to see if there's any American data out this week.
Anything to put in the diary? But I think there is.
There is. We've got an ISM thing coming out this morning. That should be out now, actually. Let me just quickly check my ISM chart, see what the latest bit of data is. Where are we? ISM. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I need to come out of that. Because I'm on the 4-hour. Sorry, my laptop's been a bit laggy here.
It's all right.
I think it's all these ads, It's all these ads on this bloody economic data website. They just crash it.
Slow you right down.
Yeah.
Well, if your BTC long comes in, hold on. Oh, I made a mistake here. Where's your...
What's happened? Oh, I've been liquidated.
Well, for whatever reason, there's a bug here anyway. There must be a bug because it's showing that your BTC is... Oh, I know what it is. It's because that's the name of the pair. It's up to 50x.
Oh, there we go. Right. So the ISM data for this month has just come out. So last month it came in at 50.9. This month we've ticked back down to 50.3. But key thing there, we're still above 50. And that is good for macro. Other stuff to come out, we've got ISM services coming out on the Wednesday. Initial jobs claims on Thursday. And we got a US jobs report, unemployment rate. Okay, unemployment rate's a nice one on the Friday. So let's see what that is. So there might be a bit of volatility surrounding that unemployment rate on the Friday.
So US unemployment Friday, is it?
Yeah, unemployment rate is Friday. The forecast is 4.1%, previously 4%. So let's see what happens.
We had OpenAI released ChatGPT 4.5 this week, like yesterday or the day before.
And
it's very average. It's very average. Not really impressed at all. So a bit of a nothing burger, as we like to say. And other than that, I guess the only other big things that we are waiting for are DeepSeek R2, I guess.
Yeah. DeepSeek R2 and macro. Yeah.
And this summit, this crypto summit or whatever they're calling it. And there was supposed to be something that is being spoken about now, which we haven't actually seen.
There was, but looking at my Twitter notifications, there's nothing really of substance. Sanction relief for Russia.
We've got Trump new tariffs on external agricultural products.
Yeah, nothing really of substance surrounding crypto over the last hour or two. I thought he was speaking of something today, unless that's tomorrow. So let's see. Until next time, everybody, take care. We'll speak to you soon. Adios.
Yeah, let's pray for $130 Solana and 95,000.
It's 10K challenge underway.
Yeah, let's go.
Adios.